We always knew that in the current financial climate we were never going to have additional resources to pay for additional officers, but we had a backlog of inspections. We weren't getting around to the businesses that we needed to get to. So we did this piece of work to become more capable as a service, and that's absolutely what's happened, because by removing some of the waste in terms of the work that the officers were doing, they're not having to sit behind a desk, they're not having to put data into computer databases, they're not having to write the letters that we were sending out to our businesses. So the officers are now much more free, they're much more out on the district, actually doing where the value work sits, which is visiting and working with the businesses out there in terms of helping them to deliver safe food. In the old system, it was more compliance based. So in the old system, we would go into a business and we would be looking for compliance with a set of regulations. Now, those regulations have been designed to help a business produce safe food, but what we didn't do is make a judgment as to the significance of the problems that we found in that business. So in the old system, everything would be given equal weighting, equal importance in terms of the conversations that we would have with that food business. In the new system, what we do is we prioritise that list of compliance. And we're saying to the business, actually, there's certain things that if you don't get them right, potentially you're going to make the food unsafe for your customers to eat. And these are the things that we're going to work with you to help you put those things right. Our service is now not about telling a business off for not doing the right thing. Our service is much more about understanding why the business isn't doing the right thing, and then doing whatever we need to do to help that business do the right thing. By studying the system, we saw that targets in the old system, which for us was very much around numbers of inspections, had been driving the wrong behaviour in officers. We also learnt by studying the system that actually the important thing is you have to look at a system from start to finish. You have to look at it as a whole. If we'd gone in and done this work and looked at individual units within that system, so if we'd have gone in and looked at the work that the officer did prior to going out and doing an inspection, or we simply looked at what the officer had done on site, wouldn't have had the changes that this redesign has had. It would have tinkered around the edges. By looking at the whole system and changing the whole system, looking at it from end to end, I believe that we made a fundamental difference in the way that we deliver our service. With the redesign that we've done, actually there's no targets that are now being set for the officers, but because they are getting motivation from the businesses in terms of the change in relationship of working with those businesses, and because they're free to make their own decisions over the work, they're actually going out and achieving more contact and more visits with the businesses than what they ever did in the old system. So when we find problems within a business, what we now do is we take time to think about what we need to do to help those businesses understand. And that's very much moved away from just a standard letter saying this is what you need to do, to much more practical based work, because we've learned that's the best way for people to learn. Some of the data that we've been collecting around the work that we do has shown that the majority of our unsafe businesses struggle with the concept of temperature control. So what we've done with the design of that system is we now know that all the businesses that we have contact with, we need to do a piece of work with them around temperature control. So ultimately, that issue shouldn't be a problem for any of our businesses in the borough. So you can see that we have improved the design of our system based around the information, the data that we're collecting about the work that we do.